Rodriguez. I'm 25 years old. I identify as a transgender male. I grew up in Ontario, California, and I now work for Congress as a staffer in Washington, D.C. I was in 7th grade. Me and my parents stayed up really late talking one night, and I came out to them as a lesbian. And it was fine. I mean, I was crying, they were crying, but overall it was fine. And I just kind of went on throughout school like that, and graduated from high school, and I moved 500 miles away to go to college. And I think in doing that, I allowed myself to really come into my identity even more. Because my very first semester away, I started identifying as a transgender male. I started trying out different names and going by male pronouns. I knew I wanted an A name that could be said in Spanish because that was really important to me. But I didn't want like Alejandro or Anastasio or like something like that. And one day I was at the doctor's office and presenting as male, and the doctor came out and thought that I was some guy named Aaron that he was expecting to see. And I don't know, so I was like, okay, I guess I like Aaron. Aaron's cool. And I tried it out for a week, and I told my friends, hey, let's try Aaron. Like every week we would try different names. Throughout that first year of my transition, I met a really great mentor, and he was able to really help me, just go through a lot of the steps and talk to me through a lot of things. He is also trans, so he drove me to San Francisco to go to some trans health clinic to get my first prescription. I called him the night before at 3 in the morning, like just freaking out, like, Aiden, I can't do this. It's not for me. Sorry. He's like, nope. I'm going to pick you up in the morning and we're going to go and you're going to be fine. And I'm so lucky and happy that he did that, because I never looked back, and I'm so happy that I did. And the month before that, I came out to my immediate family, to my parents, and they didn't take it well. I assumed that they were going to be okay just because when I came out as a lesbian, it was so smooth. My mom was really, really upset. And eventually, like little by little, my mom came around. I started talking to my sisters again. I went home after a while, and it still took her like a while, like over a year, to like start calling me by my name and start using male pronouns. And it wasn't until she came up to Chico to visit me in 2010. It was like almost a year after I started hormones. And that she saw my community, and because I knew that I couldn't go home anymore, so I had to take it upon myself to build community in Chico and like create just a family for myself there and create like a really strong support group for myself. And so I think when she went up there and she saw that, and she saw I was involved in school, I was doing well in my classes, that was a big kind of sigh of relief for her, and just to see that I was still able to function and do life. First, like the idea of passing or being read as you're presenting, or being read as you wish to be, as you wish to be treated as. We put a lot of importance on that, because regardless of if people are trans or not, you still want to be able to put them in a box where it's like, okay, I get that you're trans, but you're still a guy, or you're still a woman now. And anything that falls in between that, we're still not okay with. And so that kind of falls along people who fall within the trans umbrella. Like, you don't necessarily have to still identify. You still don't have to identify with the binary. Like, in my everyday life, I don't go up to people and say, hey, I'm Aaron, I'm trans. But when it's funny to think about the idea of coming out as like one singular time in your life. Like for me, like I come out all the time because that's part of my own agency and my own form of advocacy. Is yes, I work for Congress, and yes, I live in DC, and yes, I'm involved in all these organizations, but I'm also trans in doing this, and I'm not I just happen to be trans, and I'm still doing all of these things. But for me, it's really important to still speak to that part of my life